Just a quick thought for the day. Am I the only one that ever watches a movie, especially an old movie, like one filmed when I was a kid or before I was born or whatever, and wonder like where those actors and actresses, those big celebrities are today? Like, are they in heaven or in hell? I mean, think about it. Like, for like the movie The Whales of August from 1987. Lillian Gish, Bette Davis, Ann Sothern, Vincent Price, they all died a long time ago. They've been dead for a long time, like most of my life already. They died when I was really young. They were huge celebrities, very wealthy, world-renowned, great actors and actresses, really well-loved. However, none of that matters if they weren't a Christian, and not only a Christian, but if they didn't die in Christ, like in his good graces, and make it to heaven. So if they didn't die a saint, which I doubt most of them did, that means they're in hell. That means that for all these years, most of my life, these people have been burning in hell since they died. And all of their money, all of their fame, all of their accolades and achievements, everything they were known and so beloved for, none of that matters. Like, they had, a lot of these people died in their 80s and 90s, and so what does that teach us? At the end of the day, it doesn't matter who you are. You could be Bette Davis, you could be Lillian Gish, you could be Vincent Price, you could be, anyone. And nothing matters in the end. All your money, your fame, your fortune, your books, your movies, how many people loved you and knew you, all of your awards, none of that matters. You can't take it with you. And if anything, it probably is only going to have Jesus say, well, you've already had your reward. Depart from me into the lake of fire. I mean, think about that. That's scary. So they spent their whole life really living it up, lived good, long lives. And I'm not saying I know for sure. Like, we don't know who's in heaven or who's in hell. But I'm just saying, according to the Bible, according to church teachings, we don't really think about these things. We don't really stop to think about, we say, oh, so-and-so died. Oh, that's so sad. They'll be missed. Okay, yeah, that's great. But for example, there's movies that some of us watch over and over again throughout our lives because we just love the characters, we love the actors and actresses, whatever. But the reality is that they live and die just like us, that all their money in the world can't keep them alive forever. Many of these people die of heart failure or cancer or whatever, just like the rest of us. Yeah, they may have had notable lives, real fun lives, a lot of money, whatever. Okay? But what did they do for Jesus? What did they do for the world? What did they do other than just become, famous and entertain us and whatever? Again, if they're in hell now for all eternity, what good was it all? You know what I mean? So these are just things that go through my mind, and I don't know why right now, but I'm like cooking dinner and doing dishes, and this thought came to my mind. I'm like, because I put on some of these movies in the background just for ambiance or whatever. And then I started asking, the internet, Google, their birthdays, when they died, how'd they die, blah, blah, blah. Just doing a lot of research into these actors and actresses. And the thought occurred to me like, wow, I hope they made it. But if they didn't, and the other weird thing is, when you watch these movies, these people have been long since dead. In the world, they don't even matter anymore. Some people don't even know who they are or even remember or even care about them. You know what I mean? They're long since dead and forgotten for the most part, unless they're famous, but they're still, what difference does it make? Their fame can't change their judgment, And so it's weird when I'm watching these movies, these people have been dead for a long time, and you're still seeing them animated. You're still seeing them alive as if they're living forever through film. And that's kind of cool, whatever. Just like if we have family photos or family videos of our dead loved ones, you put them on and it's like being in the room with them again, and it's all we have. And it's a good thing, But it's just kind of freaky when you really stop to say, wait a minute. All of these people in this movie are dead, like long since dead. So like I'm watching ghosts. I'm watching moving pictures. Like they're just, it's not real, but I mean it was real, and but now they're gone, you know? And if we didn't have photos or films, movies and stuff, we would never even be able to see them alive or hear their voice or anything ever again. So in some ways, film and TV and videos and, you know, photos, magazines, whatever, that's a good thing, you know? So we always can look back and spend time with these people and see them and get to know them or whatever, but you're also not really getting to know who they really are. You're only seeing their acting, their character in the movie. So you don't really get to know how they really are in real life. They might have been the most horrible people, but nobody would know that. You only know the side of them that is portrayed in films and in photos, right? So it's another thing you have to think about when God judges. He judges things based on hearts, thoughts, intentions, you know, what they did behind closed doors, everything that we, the public, don't see. So, in other words, like, again, today, Ozzy Osbourne died. And it was kind of weird because, for some reason, when I saw the news the other day of his retirement, he did, like, one last public appearance, and everybody was praising him as the Prince of Darkness or whatever, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this guy is, like, I heard he became a Christian before he died, but I don't know how true that is, but I mean, he's still known for being like a satanic metal rock person who's led many souls to hell. And now he's being, all these people are on, oh, our beloved Ozzy Osbourne, he was great, he's going to be missed. And it's like, he's probably frying in hell right now, being ripped apart by demons, you know? I mean, and all the souls that have followed him through the years and listened to his terrible demonic music are probably ripping him apart right now and wishing he never existed, you know what I mean? And yet you're all saying, oh, Ozzy Osbourne, oh. You're not thinking. You're really not thinking. You don't think the way God thinks. You're glorifying evil people, and you just because you like them, just because you like them, you like what they represent, you like their music, that means you're evil too. You're going to end up in the lake of fire with these people. So you need to think about that too. But again, at the end of the day, it was like, I saw him, you know, not too long ago, and I heard about his last, you know, concert or whatever, his retirement or whatever, and I've heard that he's retiring so many times already, and then he does this one last hurrah. Next thing you know, I find out he died today, and I'm like, that's so weird, because when I saw him recently on TV, I thought he was already dead. And then I'm like, oh, he's still here. He's still alive and kicking. Okay, I thought he had already retired a couple times, and I thought he was already dead. That's weird. That's like a Mandela effect. And then now I find out a couple days later he's actually dead for real. So I guess lucky him that he had his one last farewell concert or whatever, goodbye public appearance. But anyway, the chances of that man being in heaven, unless he, only God can judge, but unless he really repented, what are we celebrating? You know what I mean? And so just, we don't think about these things. Like again, I was just thinking about, like, where's Lillian Gish right now? Where's Bette Davis? You know, best known for Whatever Happened to Baby Jane. You know, all these. I doubt very much that, according to church teaching and Bible teaching, how hard it is to get into heaven, that these people, because he even said it is easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than a rich person to enter the kingdom of heaven. So all of these celebrities that we love so much, these movies we watch, is whatever, you're watching people who have been long since dead, and you're enjoying the movie and their artwork and whatever. Okay, it's artistic talent, and great, you like the characters, whatever, but we don't ever look past it. We don't stop to think, where are they now? And all that foul language and using the Lord's name in vain multiple times in these movies that are, you know, these people are going to be judged on every word they said. You know, what is God going to say about this movie? Did it get them to hell because of it? Or are they in heaven? You know, are they in purgatory? Nobody ever stops to think, oh, you think too much. I really don't. I'm always thinking about the reality of, wow, life is so short. And so, one, what's the point of this? One, life is short. Two, it doesn't matter who you are. Death comes for us all in the same ways. You know, cancer, whatever, it all comes for us. Three, judgment comes for us all. Four, most of us don't make it to heaven. So you're going to be in hell burning for eternity, wishing that you weren't rich and famous, didn't make all these moves, whatever. Like, you know, an eternity of regret. And the rest of us don't think about this, so we glorify them, and we want to be like them, and oh, they were good people, and they were such good actors and actresses and singers, and wow, you know, they're going to be missed, and how they made the world a better place in this, but you're not thinking like God in His, you're not seeing things through His eyes, you know what I mean? So we have to be careful. And we really have to stop to think about, like, where are these people now? Don't you ever wonder, am I the only one that watches a movie with a cast full of people who are long since deceased? And I enjoyed the movie, but I'm like, I wonder if they regret making this. I wonder where they are now. I wonder if they made it to heaven. Are they burning in hell right now? What's happening to them right now? Are they being ripped apart by demons repeatedly? Are they in the lake of fire? I mean, all these things go through my head. And yeah, I still like them. I still like the movie, whatever. But it's just, the bottom line is it's sobering. It makes you think, like, wow. Like, for example, Lillian Gish died in, like, 1993. Her last movie was Whales of August. She died at 99 years old. That's a very long life, very successful career, whatever. And she made some cool movies, But where is she now? And what does it matter if she's not in heaven? And the other weird thing was, I stopped to think, I'm like, all these people are dead. Like, I've watched this movie like 10 times, and I don't stop to think that all these people, I'm watching ghosts from the past. Like, I'm just watching a recording or a motion picture, photos being, of people who are long since dead. And so it's kind of cool, but it's kind of sad and depressing, and it's also very sobering. Like, these people lived, they were well known, they had great lives, great careers, and now they're gone. And does any of it really matter anymore? The only thing that matters right now to them and to God and to that should matter to us is, did they make it to heaven? Because if they didn't, what a waste of a life. You know what I mean? Like, we don't think about death enough. We don't think about eternity. We don't want to. It really puts things into perspective. I'm just saying, your mortality and stuff. Like, none of us are promised tomorrow. We could die at any moment. And that's it. And then we too will be forgotten, and people will just have videos or photos of us. Maybe some Facebook videos that I made. Maybe 10, 20 years from now, somebody will watch my video and say, oh, who's this dude or whatever. Oh, he died like a long time ago, but yeah, he was some actor, preacher, whatever. And okay, but that's it. And that's all I'll be known for. And if I didn't have videos and photos and stuff and movies and stuff, people would never remember me at all eventually. But again, what does it matter? If I'm in hell? Like, do you really think that after all my accomplishments in my life, if I'm not in heaven, I'm going to care? I'm not going to be happy. I'm not going to sit there burning in hell with demons ripping me apart saying, you know what, though? It was worth it. This is worth it because I had fun. Sorry, my video froze. Yeah, I'm not going to be in hell saying, oh, you know what, it's worth it being here, though, because I had a good life, I made movies, I was an internet preacher, I had a good life, I had fun, I was well loved, I was well known, whatever, which is not true anyway. I'm not well loved, I'm not well known, and, my life has not been fun, and I have not, regardless of whatever I've done in my past, most of it's only ever been a regret. I really always say often that, I will not be able to have a eulogy at my funeral saying, oh, he lived such a great, notable life, whatever, he was a good person, he did all this. No, the truth is, I'm always telling myself every day, man, I'm already 45, I'm surprised I already outlived most of my friends and many of my family already. I can honestly say that I wish I can go back and do it all again, all over again, very different, okay? No, most of my life, most of my choices, everything, I got to tell you, is a regret. The things I wish I did, I didn't. Most of my life is not just filled with missed opportunities of things I wish I had done or said. Not only that, but it's actually mostly, I'm being honest here, mostly, if I'm honest with myself, if I look back and review my whole life, it's 99%, honestly, major fail. Things I wish I hadn't done, hadn't said. Okay? Literally. That's not good. Like, I'm prejudging myself now, basically, like the Lord's going to show me. If he shows me my whole life in review on Judgment Day, most of it's going to be like, especially through the lens of God, like through the eyes of a Christian, through the eyes of Christ, it's going to be humiliating, shameful, mortifying, waste of life, waste of time. Oh my gosh. And I'm going to sit there and I'm going to end up saying, yeah, I deserve hell, because truly I do. What did I do to really deserve eternity in heaven? What did I do for God or for people that was so worthy? Still to this day, nothing. And I've tried. And that's what scares me. Like, I have tried and tried. But to no avail. I never got to be a priest. I never got to get married. I never got to have kids. I never got to have a good, long-lasting career in any field. I never got to make money. I never got to own my own home or property, like a normal home and property, just a rundown trailer. I'm still at 45 with disabilities, no family, no friends, no credit, no career, a 7-page resume, nothing. I've done a lot of things, but nothing stuck. Nothing really mattered. Nothing was good for God's kingdom or for me or for my soul or for anyone. I really don't see much good. And it really is almost like a waste of life, as from a biblical Christian perspective. In the world, most might just be average, but in God's eyes, this is a very bad thing. And I should be afraid, and so I'm like, okay, well, there's always, I'm still alive today. There's always a chance to do something, and so, yeah, but it's already 45 years has flown by so fast, and I still have no stability. I still have no major accomplishments that were of any value to the kingdom of heaven or to the world. So it's like, I don't think I have much time left. I'm slowing down. I'm not well. I'm not 20, 25 years old with my whole life ahead of me. Now I'm headed towards retirement in the grave, and there's not a chance to really do much anymore at this point, anything. And again, even if I do stuff, even if I became president of the United States or some big famous person in the last years of my life, what does that matter if I end up in hell? What does that matter compared to eternity? Really, okay, even if I leave this earth and everybody in the world knows who I am, for better or for worse, because of something good I did or something bad I did. Regardless, okay, I'll be infamous or famous, but that's still not going to get me into heaven. That's still not going to matter when I'm dead. Whether I'm in heaven or hell, that's not going to matter. It's probably going to cost me my eternity. I might be in hell because of it, but what I'm saying is, folks, if we don't get to heaven, none of this matters. And we are so wasting every day of our life just kind of living, just surviving, not really truly living for God, not truly living for heaven, for eternity, for souls, for the advancement of the kingdom. No good comes of this for God, for his kingdom, for our neighbor, or for ourselves. What are we doing? Most people's lives, if you really think about it, are a waste. Waste of space, waste of time, waste of food, waste of life, waste of oxygen. Because if you don't make it to heaven, then you did nothing good for God, nothing for neighbor, and everything was for nothing. You're going to end up in hell, and all of your works are going to be burned up and forgotten as well. One day nobody will even know you existed or even care. No matter, even if you were a great person or a saint, it doesn't matter. Eventually people won't know who you are, and they won't care, they won't remember you anymore in this world. Eventually, everything you worked so hard for, the books you wrote, whatever lives you've changed, even if you changed history, eventually it all turns to dust and gets forgotten and doesn't matter anymore. It's all for a limited time, and it usually only affects those closest to you, for better or for worse. And most of us are leading people to hell with us instead of to heaven with us, because we're on our way to hell, not to heaven, and we don't even think about that. And so it's reminding me of what the Bible says. King Solomon, when he wrote the Wisdom of Solomon, and he said, everything is for nothing. It's all in vain. It's all vanity. Nothing matters. He literally came to the conclusion, with all his fame and fortune and wives and power and everything, it was all for nothing if you don't make it to heaven. And if you're living right so that you can get to heaven, then you're probably not going to have all those things. And you're probably not going to be that well known or well loved by most people. It's a secret thing between you and God, God's ways are not our ways. God's ways are not our ways. His thoughts are not our thoughts. We have to remember that our life is but a vapor down here. And we're really getting so distracted and wasting so much time on trivial things like movies, TV, whatever, fun, food, whatever. Yeah, you can enjoy your life, but you're not supposed to enjoy your life more than you enjoy God, and most of us don't do that. We don't realize that at the end of the day, we're all going to be judged, and God's going to go through our entire life review with us, and we're going to see how much time we wasted, how much of our life, even if we didn't consider it waste, we might have enjoyed it, whatever, but if it doesn't merit heaven, if it doesn't get us to heaven, it doesn't matter. It's all going to be burned up. The only things that are going to be left are what God approves of. Love of God, love of neighbor, anything that was meritorious for heaven. The rest will be burned up like chaff. Most of our lives are going to be, it's like you have a pot, excuse me, it's like you have a pot of water boiling, or soup, and it's boiling and boiling for hours, and then eventually it all boils out and you only have a little bit left at the bottom, and that's all that's left. That's all that really matters. The stock or whatever, not the rest of it. The rest was just vaporized. It just boiled off. And when God refines us down to gold, most of it, everything gets burned off, and you're just left with a little nugget of gold if you're lucky. You might have started off with something like the size of a boulder, but by the time he's done refining you, you're left with a little precious stone or a little precious nugget. That's it. I mean, we don't think about that. If you look at your whole life, whether you live 10 years, 50 years, at the end of your life, most of it is just fluff, waste of time. It could be compared, your life can be compared to a package. Somebody sent something to you that was a very big value, right? And so you get this big package, or on Christmas you get this big package. All right, let's change it. Put it this way. Have you ever been deceived at Christmas morning where somebody takes a big box and they fill it with all this stuffing and wrapping and all this stuff, and you get all excited, you think it's a really big gift, so it's going to be awesome, right? And when you finally open it and you take out all these layers, there's another box inside and another box and all this stuffing, and then there's like maybe a little diamond ring in the middle. And instead of them just giving you a little box with a diamond ring in it so you probably figure out what it is, you get this huge box. It looks like a refrigerator-sized box. And just for the fun of having to go through and, what is it, and open all this stuff. But none of that packaging matters. It's really the gift that matters, right? No matter what it was, that's what you're trying to get down to. So, like, if I wanted to get engaged to somebody on, Christmas morning, I might get a huge refrigerator box and just fill it with all this stuffing and this and that, and then put the ring in the center and have my fiance go through and, what is it? What am I looking for? Where's the gift? What is it? And then when they finally get down to it and they open it, oh, now that diamond might be worth $6,000, and it's way more valuable than all the packaging, but the gift was the diamond ring, not the whole package. So whether I just gave her the ring in a little box or a huge box, what matters is the gift, right? At the end, it comes down to the ring, right? So that's like our life. God just, on Judgment Day, he pushes away all the stuff that doesn't matter, and he takes a fine-tooth comb and he really looks at you through a microscope, and are you worthy of heaven at the end? Ultimately, all said and done, was your life heaven-bound or hell-bound? Was it living for God or for self in the world, in the flesh, and the devil? Was it leading souls to heaven or to hell? Was it, was it in vain? Was it a waste? Did you glorify God? Did you advance the kingdom? Did you help save souls? Did you save your own soul? Or was it all just living and existing? Here today, gone tomorrow. We don't think. And I got to end this video, but sorry, I'm getting sick. There's something going around, and all of a sudden I'm getting all clogged up. At the end of the day, at the end of our life, and our life is short, it's like a passing day. What do we do with it? What do we do with our time? Most of us are going to be found wanting and cast into the lake of fire. That's just a reality. No matter how great we thought we were, our life was, no matter how much we enjoyed our life or didn't enjoy our life, doesn't matter. People who had a terrible life will end up in hell, just like people who were very fortunate and had an awesome life, like Donald Trump. They'll end up in hell. It doesn't matter. Same fate waiting for us if we don't make it. You can go around the mountain or over the mountain or through the mountain, but if you don't make it to your destination, it doesn't matter. Some people take the long spiral way, some people just go up and over. Either way, at the end of the day, death is waiting for all of us, judgment is waiting for all of us, and heaven or hell are waiting for all of us, and most go to hell. And that's the sobering reality based on what we did now. And so we have to understand that this world, the wicked politicians and people who make our laws and governments and tax us and all this stuff and cause inflation and all that stuff, they are godless people who work for the devil knowingly or unknowingly. The devil has created everything in society to be nothing but a waste of time and a distraction that they enforce on us, so that if we're not wise and prudent, we will spend most of our time just eating, drinking, making merry, working, paying taxes, and then die, and then we lose out on eternity because we didn't live for God as He commanded. And we could say, well, we couldn't because we were ignorant, or we didn't know how, or nobody taught us, or whatever. Or no, the reality is you put the world first, the cares of the world first. You loved the cares of the world more than you loved God. You loved sin more than God, whatever. You fell for the bait. You took the bait. You fell for the trap. You got lost in the grand scheme of things. In it's like you're in a great labyrinth, and you're supposed to get from point A to point B. You have to get through the maze, and you got lost in the maze. You wasted most of your time and energy on having to work hard to pay bills and taxes and all that stuff. And then since you were working so hard, you wanted to play hard. You wanted to be able to enjoy the time you had when you're not giving unto Caesar what is Caesar's. What I'm saying is the devil has designed society, the world. He's hijacked God's creation, and he's made it into a prison planet, and he's keeping us all so tied down with bills and taxes and, all these things we have to do in order to be able to live in this world, which we should not have to be charged for water or air. God gave it to us. We need it. Why are we being charged for necessities of life? God gave us the world to build up and enjoy. There's plenty of room for everyone to have a little piece of land in their own home and whatever, right? And grow their own crops, whatever. But the governments have taken that away and made it so that, oh no, you can't own a house or land or anything unless you pay a lot of taxes every year. And in order to pay taxes, you better work 40 to 50 hours a week at least. And then we're going to take half of your money in taxes, and whatever we don't take in income tax, we're going to charge in sales tax and this tax and that tax and whatever. So basically you have nothing at the end of the day you just worked all week for. You have very little left to survive and buy food and necessities. After you pay them to allow you to survive, to live on this planet, okay, then there's nothing left for food and sustenance and whatever, so now you have to work even harder. And so while you're so busy on this rat race, this hamster wheel, this rat race, just trying to survive as they're piling more and more debts and bills and responsibilities on you so that you can live. And what are you living for? Just to live, to be a slave another day. It's a never-ending vicious cycle. Jesus came to set us free from that. But now, here's the thing. Jesus also said, if you're going to follow me, pick up your cross and follow me. It will kill you. It'll take your life. Because they know that if you become a real Christian, it's going to be like dead man walking. You're going to be basically walking to your execution. If you really do this right, you're not going to be able to do things the way the world tells you you have to. You won't be able to work 40, 50, 60 hours a week just to pay bills, just to pay taxes, just to have a house, just to have all these things that you need. If you follow Christ, you probably lose your home, lose your job, lose your family, lose your friends, lose your life, literally and figuratively and literally, quite literally. Many people end up taking vows of poverty or ending up poor and dying on the streets, suffering, starvation, because you can't serve both God and the world. You truly can't. The road is very narrow to heaven. You can't really have the average American dream. You certainly can't be rich and famous. Because that takes all your time and energy, and in order to do that, you have to literally sell your soul and live in a way that is very unchristian to have all that. Satan ain't going to give it to you for free. And if you live a middle class or lower class life, you're still just, don't you ever wake up in the morning saying, another day of 9 to 5 and a very few hours left for me. After I go to the bathroom, shave, shower, do my laundry, feed myself, whatever, get to work, get back from work, everything I need. There's not even enough time to sleep before I have to get up and do it all over again tomorrow. And then if I even hope to get to heaven by the skin of my teeth, I have to at least keep holy the Sabbath day, which means I have my only day off is on Sunday, and that's not for me, it's for God. So now and then it's back to the daily grind again. Oh my gosh. Like, there's just no time for you to enjoy anything. If you try to be a real Christian, and try to have the American dream or whatever that they say you need to have, they're forcing you to have, God gets the back burner, or he has to leave your life altogether, because you just can't do both. Meanwhile, while you're working for Caesar, going to work 9 to 5 every day or more, working 2 jobs, trying to keep a roof over your head, trying to keep food on your plate, trying to survive, trying to save your life, you lose your eternal life, because all that time and energy being spent on just treading water when you know you're going to eventually drown anyway, you're just trying to put it off. All of that just trying to survive, just trying to obey the government, obey Satan, trying to keep a roof over your head, pay the taxes, have the car, whatever. While you're busy doing all that, that you only have a short life. And that short life needs to be 100% to God first. And you can't if you're living for the way the world is making you live. You know what I mean? Like it's intended to take from God. It's intended to keep you so busy and tired and preoccupied that you have very little to no time for prayer, fasting, getting closer to God, being holy, and actually spreading Christianity and helping others, helping your neighbor get to heaven. It's a design. Folks, they designed us in it. Why do you think they just keep making it harder to live? And now they're trying to trap you with AI and all these other things. I mean, think about it. Without a cell phone, you can't have a job. You can't have this, you can't have that. Without an actual address, you can't have a job. You can't get a car. You can't get a license. You can't get mail. You're nobody unless you're on the grid. You're no one unless you're in the slave system. If you don't have a number, a serial number, a social security number, and mailing address, a cell phone, all these things that they force you to have, you can't live like the Amish and still survive. You can't live without all these things. The minute you lose your job and become unemployed, you lose everything. And so, and if you don't have Christ, then everything was for nothing. You end up dying on the street anyway, and then you end up in hell anyway. You know, I'm trying to find the words. You get what I'm saying. You should understand what I'm trying to say. They're two opposite directions. There's the way of the world that we all know, that we are brainwashed as children through the school systems, that you have to live a certain way and you're not going to matter for anyone. Your life stinks. Your life is useless and you're a nobody if you don't have the nice car, the nice home, the career, the college degree. You know, if you don't fit that mold that the devil, the world, puts on you, then you don't have a life. And you're a loser and your life is for nothing. But if you do that, if you do it correctly and you become Donald Trump or whatever, and a famous actor or doctor, whatever, you have the normal, what we call the American dream here. You have everything you want or need or whatever. You have a decent life in the world, a decent worldly materialistic life. The devil says, well done, my plan worked. But now you might end up in hell because you didn't get to spend your life as God created you to live for him. And you couldn't live for anyone but yourself or maybe your immediate family, but you couldn't live for God and for neighbor and for the homeless and all that stuff because you were too busy trying to... If you're already drowning, folks, here's the bottom line. If you're already drowning, if somebody throws you overboard in the middle of the ocean with no life jacket, okay, no hope, and they leave you there, you're going to keep trying to tread water as long as you can until you go under. And you know that if somebody doesn't miraculously heal you soon, come and get you soon, if they don't send a boat for you soon, you're going under. And even if you manage to stay afloat for 2 days, the sharks are going to come. So either way, you know it's death, by drowning or by being eaten. You know darn well it's just a matter of minutes, days, hours before it's over. But your natural ability to live, your survival instincts are going to keep you trying to breathe, keep trying to tread water and keep your head above water as long as you can. And so while you're so busy doing that, if the person next to you is also drowning, you can't help them, can you? You can't really cry out to God much. You can't really think or pray. All you're thinking about is surviving. So you can't even stop and collect yourself and meditate and focus on other things like God and eternity and, even trying to find a solution when there is none because you're just so busy. You're panicking and treading, trying to stay afloat. That's society, folks. That's the American dream. Stay afloat, try to survive. And then you die. And now you're in hell. Because while you were so busy just trying to live, you didn't have time to fulfill what God created you for. Now do you see the design? They'll get you by wasting time on internet. They'll get you through through AI. They'll get you through entertainment. They'll get you through sin. They'll get you through taxes. They'll get you through trying to just have a decent life in life, trying to just survive. It's all a matter of what you do with the short time you have. And if you spend that short time just treading water, just trying to get by every day, and then you ask yourself, why am I doing this at all? Just to live another day, to tread water again for another day. Or just to live so I can go back to make Caesar more money. To make the devil, the wicked elite, more money. The government, Uncle Sam, more money out of my paycheck. I'm just living as a slave. And at the end of this slavery, if I don't end up in heaven, it was all for nothing. All for nothing. And it doesn't matter if I was one of the rich and famous, powerful elites who are not a slave, or if I was a slave my whole life. Slaves end up in hell just like the wealthy do, just like the well-to-dos, just like the average. Everybody at the end, most people are going to end up in the lake of fire. And so it's so discouraging, and Satan knows this. And if you let it bother you, you might kill yourself, and then you'll definitely end up in the lake of fire. Either way, it's like, Jesus wasn't kidding when he said that way to heaven is very narrow and few are chosen. So you can understand why a lot of people have become priests and nuns and hermits and, religious. And they got smart. They're like, listen, I realize this, and so I have to go all in. I'm not going to try to have a wife and kids and become a CEO or a doctor or a lawyer or whatever. All these things are necessary, but especially to have the world function the way it's designed by Satan. But if you want to come out of the world and literally just live like Christ, you have to get rid of everything. It will cost you everything. That's why Jesus said, first count the cost if you want to be my disciple. That's why he told the rich young ruler, if you want to follow me, go, leave your family, sell everything you have, give it to the poor, and give the money to the poor, and come and pick up your cross and follow me. That's why he told the fishermen, hey, drop your net, you're going to come be fishermen now for me. You're no longer fishermen for fish, you're going to fish for souls. Come and follow me. Just leave your career, leave everything, leave your boats and nets, you don't need them anymore, come and follow me. Peter, I don't care you have a fisherman business. Maybe you have a wife and kids, whatever. I need you to be the first pope, come and follow me. And that's why priests and nuns are not to get married and have kids and all that stuff, because you can't have a vocation as a husband or wife and mother and father and also be able to be totally free to follow Jesus and carry your cross and only live and die for him. It's hard. You have to make a choice. You can follow your natural instincts to breed and, populate the planet, and that's necessary too. But at the same time, if you really want a better chance of getting to heaven, then you need to go all in. And that's some serious downsizing and sacrifice and losing everything and everyone to obtain Christ. Why do you think Jesus said it's easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than a rich person enter the kingdom? Why do you think Jesus said that the kingdom of heaven is like a precious pearl of great worth, that you go and you sell everything you own in order to have the money to buy that pearl, because that pearl is worth way more than everything else you own? Or the kingdom of heaven could be compared to, there was a treasure that was buried in a field, and one day a man was digging and found the treasure, but the treasure was of such value and he didn't own the field, so he went and sold everything he had and bought the field, because whoever owns the field that the treasure is in, they own the treasure. For example, if somebody strikes oil in their backyard, technically, now the government will always find a way to say, oh, well, you don't technically own the property. But years ago, if you owned farmland and you found an oil well, you were very wealthy. Overnight, you're now a millionaire, because now your property is worth a lot more, and somebody will buy it for a lot more money, and they will have you'll have all that, or you'll open up an oil business or whatever, and you'll be an oil tycoon. But the point is, you own the land, so that oil that's on your land is yours. And so somebody's they're going to have to buy it from you in order to have that oil, right? So if I bought a farm and I find a huge treasure, again, the government has ways of getting the greedy little fingers on it and say, well, technically you pay taxes because you don't really own land, you rent it from us, so it's not really yours, it's ours, and this is a national treasure that you found, so even though it's on your property, we're going to confiscate it, and we're going to take it and make the money off of it, because, you'll be known for finding it, but you'll get the credit, and maybe we'll give you a little bit of money, but we're not going to pay you full value for this treasure. We're going to steal it from you and say, hey, this land belongs to the United States of America or whatever, and even though you pay for it and you rent, you pay taxes on this and that, you own it, that treasure is not yours. That's what they're going to say. Or a meteorite. Say a meteorite comes from Mars and it lands on your ground. I can't come and take that. That's your property because it fell on your property. So that means that you are the owner of a meteorite or an asteroid. And those are worth a lot of money to scientists. So a scientist may come and give you $1 million to have that meteorite because they need it to study. And there's a lot of there's a lot of raw materials in there that are very valuable. Okay, so if a meteor falls in your yard, you are very blessed because you are going to be super rich and famous overnight. But now here's the thing. If a meteor were to fall on my yard right now, I don't own the land. I only rent it. The park would be the ones to get the money for the meteor because the park, the mobile home park, owns the land. So if a meteor comes and falls, they can still technically say, well, no, that's our property that you're renting from us, so it belongs to us. That stinks, right? Because I need the money, and so that would be my luck. However, there is a chance that if the meteor fell and hit my trailer that's on the park and lands in my kitchen, that's mine because I own the trailer. I'm not. Now, if I rented the trailer from the park, then it's still their property. You see, again, people have a way of stealing from you. That's the devil. That's how he designs things. Nothing's ever yours. And the rich and powerful will always come and find a way to steal what's rightfully yours anyway. But in theory, if the world was a just and righteous place, an honest place, it would be mine. Okay? And so anyway, you see what I'm saying? So if you, I digress. The point is, if the kingdom of heaven is like a treasure that somebody found and they couldn't take it because the treasure was found on someone else's land. So the person was wise. They buried the treasure again and did not let the owner of the land even know that they had a valuable treasure on the land. It's kind of being dishonest, but it's also being wise. And they went and sold everything and then made an offer to the owner of the land to buy the land. And the owner's like, why are you wanting my land so badly? I just really want it. No, it's not for sale. How about $1 million? No. $2 million? No. $10 million? No. $5 million? What? Why? Why do you want it? What do you care? Take the money. It's a lot. Because no matter how much you spend, even if it cost you $2 billion to buy a farm that was only worth $100,000, you know that treasure is worth even more. And so you'll do whatever it takes to get that property so you can have that treasure on the property. That's what Jesus is talking about. The kingdom of heaven is like a treasure that is so valuable, there's no cost or price you could put on it in this life. If it costs you your literal life and your blood for it, then so be it. Because it cost Jesus his. So when you think about it this way, this is why people don't want people to really understand that Bible. They want to cherry pick it and twist the verses, the scripture verses, and they want to push a prosperity gospel on you, all that stuff. So you miss the point. And so basically, so much for this being a short video. Our life is but a vapor, and it is so priceless if we don't spend the proper amount of time focusing on Jesus and heaven and eternity and living for God. And not just living for God, we must be in the Father's will. And very few of us know exactly what the Father's will is for our particular life. And so if we find out that, we weren't living in the Father's will, we don't go to heaven. We wasted our life. If you're not living your life in line with the Father's will, plan, purpose, and good pleasure for your life, for Him having created you at all, then your life is in vain. No matter what you do, I don't care who you are, how powerful you become, how famous, how rich, or how poor and miserable. It doesn't matter. If you miss the mark, you're gone for eternity into the lake of fire. That is a very scary, sobering thought. So I guess we should just say, be very careful with what you do with your short time on earth. So when you think about it this way, it kind of takes the joy out of life, doesn't it? Oh, well, I was planning on having that big house on the sea and retiring and having a yacht and maybe sending my kids to this college and, going to a baseball game and, whatever. Okay, suddenly all your plans get pushed to the side. that's great. That's worldly thinking. That's fleshly thinking. That's living for the flesh, the world, the devil, yourself. But that's not living for God. If you're going to follow God, you're going to get rid of your plans and hopes and dreams and desires. Say, Jesus, what do you need me to do? What do you want me to do? What did you create me specifically for? Because maybe I want to be a wife with 5 kids, but maybe you want me to be a nun. Maybe I want to be a doctor or own my own business and live in a house on the beach, but you don't want that for me. You know what I mean? Like, and if you don't get what you want, Lord Jesus, then when I die, no matter how great and happy I was in my life, it was all for nothing. I'm going to end up in the lake of fire, regretting my life for all eternity, regretting not doing your will. You know, it's not worth it. Nothing's worth being in hell over. And we keep forgetting that because our flesh is very strong and it always wants. And then you got the world constantly putting thoughts in your head and bombardments and you got to have this and you got to have that and this is how to really live a good, fulfilling life. And all these opinions and all this. It's like trying to find a needle in a haystack, the real truth. You know, and so you literally have to have silence. You literally have to keep people away from you. You need to go away and live alone somewhere. Why do you think some of these saints literally left society and went into the mountains and lived by themselves, eating bugs and berries, and just lived in the solitude and quiet, just them and God? Because they knew that they need to get to heaven, and all that other stuff that everybody says is so important is not going to matter in the end. It's going to drag you to hell. It is so hard to break free. You have to mortify the flesh. You literally have to die. And these people suffered and died and lived. Some of these people lived in caves with no comforts or whatever until their body gave out. A lot of these saints died young. You want to know why? Because they lived such an incredibly austere life that their flesh could not handle it, and they died young. They got sick. They died. They fasted ridiculously a lot. They mortified their flesh. They slept on boards and floors with a rock instead of a pillow. I mean, they did things they literally self-sabotaged. They literally slowly killed themselves. And people look at that like, that's insane. That's crazy. That's no way of living. That's no quality of life. Why would you purposely want to make yourself poor and sick and alienated and hungry and cold and die? Because to die in Christ is gain, right? This is all easier said than done. I'm not going to go and live on a bridge tomorrow and sleep on a rock. I'm just saying, I mean, I should be so lucky to be that kind of that in love with Christ. And that's probably what it's going to require from me at this point to get to heaven. I don't think I'm going to make it if that's the case. You know, and I already suffer terribly, but people say, "Oh, you're a saint, you know, that all your pain and suffering you're doing in purgatory now." No. If I'm doing my purgatory now, well, thank God, but no, I know the truth is that I have merited my sufferings. I am a terrible sinner who has merited his suffering. These are punishments. This is what happens when you violate God's law. This isn't because God's trying to make me holy. It might help to my sanctification, but no, the reality is I know myself better than you people do, and God knows too. And I'm not going to sit there making you think, oh, there's Saint Steve, oh, how much he suffers, oh, he lives such a pious, virtuous life, oh, he must be a saint. No, God is backhanding me daily because of the stupidity I've done. That's the truth. That's the truth. I deserve what I get. The sufferings I have merited, this is not necessarily gaining me heaven. This is not merits. This is, you did the crime, you're doing the time. This is God being, he chastises those he loves. Put it this way, my life would probably be less painful and easy. I'd be younger and better looking and healthy and successful if I continued on my Hollywood career. If I continued just living in the world, I wouldn't be probably suffering so much right now. There's no guarantee, but I probably wouldn't because I'd have a lot of family and friends still that love me. The world would love me. The world takes care of its own. The devil will just keep giving me whatever I want until I end up in a lake of fire. Because it's like the devil, when he gives you stuff and allows you to have stuff, it's like a credit card. He knows that the more you accept from him, the more debt you're going to owe to God on Judgment Day. There's more judgments you're going to have. The more crimes against you. The more sin. It's stacking up. And the more terrible your eternity in hell is going to be. It's terrible to be in hell, period. But some people, it's worse in hell than for others. The punishments are different, depending on how much you sinned in life, how much you stacked up. Some people are in the deepest recesses of hell for eternity, which is worse than the top level of hell. It's still hell, but it's a lot worse for some because they didn't repent and they really kept digging the hole deeper and deeper in their life. More and more sin on top of themselves that needs to be atoned for. That more wrath of God, more anger, more offenses that you're going to be paying for in hell. And so you need to not think that way, and so people don't realize that they're just living their life. Oh, I'm a good person, I'm going to go to hell, I'm going to go to heaven. God, see how blessed I am, everything's great, everything goes so smooth for me, hallelujah. Be on guard, because that's not what the saints taught. That's not what Jesus taught. That's probably the devil's just leaving you alone and letting you enjoy life now, because the more you enjoy life now, the more your torment is going to be in hell. And on top of it, he doesn't care if you enjoy your life now, because he knows that there's a less chance of you getting getting to heaven the more you enjoy your life. You're going to be living for the wrong things, flesh, the world, and the devil, not for God. And so he's just going to let you keep going, thinking that everything's great, comfortable along the broad road, until suddenly your number's up and you drop right into the abyss. And all that while you were on the nice, comfortable, broad road to hell, and you didn't even know. You didn't even think about it. You didn't care. You didn't realize it until it was too late. But there's no mistaking the narrow way, which is full of rocks and thorns and desert and lonely and scary and miserable, and you're carrying a cross. You can't miss that. That's why most people don't end up on that narrow road. They avoid it like the plague. They see it coming, like, oh no, I don't want that. That's too much. I'm going to stay on the comfortable road. Where if everybody's doing it, it must be good. Everybody's going this way, I'm going to go this way. Why would I want to go that way? Why would I want to torment myself and suffer and intentionally? Why would I want to self-sabotage? Because you have to die to self in order to get to heaven. If you don't, then you're going to enjoy your life, but you're going to end up in hell. And that's the reality of Christianity that people don't really want to break down and think about. We talk about it never gets in. We don't do it. It's easier said than done. Even me, I'm not, So, and there's still no guarantee Jesus will have mercy on who he has mercy on. Few get chosen, but if you want to have a chance at getting to heaven, you have to forfeit this life now and pick up your cross and take the narrow road. And you still might not make it. You still might not make it. You might just get disqualified or give up on the narrow way, or you might get to the door and Jesus still says, you didn't do it right, sorry. And it's like, well, Lord, I just wasted my whole life carrying my cross, not even enjoying my life so I can get to heaven, and now you're telling me I still didn't make it? Your attitude's wrong. You didn't really do it for the right reasons. You did it to avoid hell. You did it to be pious. You did it for whatever, like the Pharisees and the Sadducees. But no, you still got disqualified. So I'm sorry to tell you that, 50 years of your life was in vain, even though you were trying to follow me. So it would have been better had I stayed on the broad road? Maybe, I guess, but not really, because those people didn't stand a chance of getting to heaven. And their punishments are going to be even worse for eternity than yours. So, but you're still going to be in hell with them, yeah. So like I said, few are chosen. Run your race to win the gold, And so, if you don't do this, you don't have a chance at all, folks. If you don't pray, if you don't go to church, if you don't take the narrow road now, you're definitely not going to get into heaven. So, and most of you say, oh, well, then, what, I'm just going to enjoy my life then while I have it. Because if I'm going to hell anyway, or if it's so hard to get to heaven anyway. But you're also forgetting purgatory and stuff. There's a chance that you might go to purgatory at least for a little while and then get to heaven. But you definitely won't go to purgatory if you stay on the broad road. You have no hope if you just continue living on the broad road that everybody else is living. Doesn't matter. You have no hope. You might as well just not be a Christian at all. You might as well just give up and enjoy your sin and go. Know that you're going to hell. And some of you do that. You just say, well, then I'm just going to go to hell. I'm on the highway to hell, and I'm just going to keep drinking and having fun and party as long as I can until I'm in the fire. You think so. But with that, if God knows that about you, he'll cut your life shorter real fast. You won't even live to see 80. You won't be allowed to just sit here and party. In other words, you're not going to just get. There's no easy way, folks. If you intentionally choose hell and the broad road, you will end up sooner than later dead and in a terrible fate, and then in hell, and then for all eternity. Your only hope is to take a chance and risk all and take the narrow road. If you don't take the narrow road, then you're definitely not going to get to heaven at all. But staying on the broad road is not an answer either. So, again, we really need to stop and think. And the only way to ever stop and think is to shut off the radio, shut off the TV, get off the phone and meditate. Really prioritize, really focus. Cut off your social life, get away from people. Like I have neighbors and stuff who want to, they're still not, oh, well, I respect your religion, this and that, but I'm going to go drinking. You should come. No, why do you keep doing, all right, I respect you, I'm sorry, but no, you would love to corrupt me and have me go out drinking and compromise everything I've worked so hard for just to go out and be, for what? I'm trying to tell you, I'm trying to be an example to you that you need to stop. You need to stop going out drinking on the weekends. You need to stop partying with your girlfriends. You need to stop living in adultery and unmarried. You need to stop swearing. You need to stop. You need to change your life. And if you don't, I can't associate with you. Oh, you're just being mean and judgmental and bigoted. Oh, I'm not good enough for you to hang out with? You're dangerous to my soul. So no, you're not. I cannot just let you come in here with all your demons trying to tempt me on top of everything else I'm already tempted. I don't need that. I can't have negative people. Bad company corrupts good morals. It's very hard to walk this straight and narrow road. And for years I was resentful towards God that my family and friends have all abandoned me and this and that. Now I'm thankful. I literally look back now and I'm like, it's been lonely. It's been sad. But you know what? The more I know about God and reality and how hard it is to get to heaven, I am working and suffering way too much to just let people take me down to hell with them. They're not even on my level. They couldn't even be at this point. I can't risk it. Like, I love you, mom, dad, kids, whatever, family, friends. I love you, but you know what? I'll love you from a distance. I'll love you as you're falling into hell. But if you want to go to heaven, you better pick up your cross like me, and you need to follow me, and you need to follow Jesus like I'm following Jesus. There's no other way. If you want to continue to just live in the world the way and say, oh, we don't really need to do that, you're a good person, stop. Stop telling me nonsense. You want to make yourself believe lies from the devil. I'm not stupid. I know those are lies. I can't stand 90% of the stuff out of people's mouth is just nonsense. Garbage, stupid, ignorance, and I don't have time for it. So yes, oh, you don't have a social life, I'd rather not have a social life, because what am I going to do? Socialize with you and talk nonsense? Talk blasphemy, talk stupidity and ignorance? Everything you think you know and try to tell me that I need to know is wrong. While you've been living your life for 45 years in the world, thinking like the world, going to hell, I have been studying and reading scripture and reading about the saints and suffering and denying and working hard and carrying my cross. And so, of course, I know more than you do about Christianity, about Jesus, about the Bible. I have earned it. While you were out going to the beach and having fun and going to work at 9 to 5 and then living it up and going to Disney World every year, I wasn't. And now you want to just think that I'm just going to give that all up and go backslide into for what? And I hate the world, and I hate sin, and I hate the stupidity, and I hate 90% of what society stands for and lives for and thinks life is all about. Oh, well, then you're a bad person. You're a hater. No, I have the mind of Christ. Well, then he's not a good God. No, actually, he's good. You're bad. You don't know what good is. Okay, I'm growing in wisdom. Okay, I've applied myself. I have been focusing more on God and getting to heaven and becoming a saint. And that is what I live and breathe. That's that's all I ever talk about every day. That's what happens when you truly keep doing this. You perfect it. You get mastered in a certain area. It's what you love. It's all you think about. It's all you care. That's your thing. That's what you're good at. If I applied myself this way to becoming a mechanic, I'd be the best mechanic on the earth. If I wanted to be a heart surgeon, then I would have to just live and breathe textbooks and schooling and surgeries. If you want to be good, you want to be great, you want to be a saint, then you need to live this way. If you want to be good at worldly things, then you're going to deny the cross, you're going to deny all this, and you're going to think about those things. But I'm warning you, what you fill your mind and heart with and time with is going to determine whether you go up or down, and most of it's going to bring you down. So you need to decide, do I want to go to hell, or do I want to go to heaven? Maybe if you really believed in a hell, you would know. You'd be afraid enough to start repenting. So, and even if you spend all your time to be the best artist, best singer, best doctor, best lawyer, best whatever, that's not getting you into heaven, because Jesus is going to say, okay, that's great. You're a world-renowned detective, you're a world-renowned heart surgeon, that's all wonderful. You made money, great. But you don't know me, and I don't know you. What did you do for me? What did you do to glorify me in my kingdom and advance my kingdom? What did you do to get souls saved? You may have helped make lives better. You may have saved some lives, but what did you do for the eternal soul, which is more valuable? Nothing. You live for yourself. You live for the world. You live for the flesh. You live for the devil. You did not live for me. At no point in your life did you ever deny yourself or anything or anyone and live. At no point in your life did you put God first. At no point in your life did you love God more than anyone or anything else. I told you, if you love your mother, father, sister, brother, son, or daughter, anything or anyone more than me, you're not worthy of me. I told you, if you put Sorry, there's interference again. I told you, if you put your 2 hands to the plow and look back, you're not worthy of me. I told you in the first commandment, you will love the Lord your God with all your heart and mind and strength and life. And then you will love others, your neighbor, as you love yourself. But I never said to love yourself more than God. If you love yourself more than God, that's disordered. And of course you're going to love others disordered as well. You can't love anyone or yourself more than God. Nothing in creation should be loved more than God. So if you're really going to get to heaven, then you must obey the first commandment. And if you do that, you'll obey all the commandments. It's a given. Obey the first commandment properly, and you will not break any of the others. If you break one of them, you've broken them all. Well, yeah, but I didn't break the first one. I only broke the third. But you also broke the first by breaking the third. Because if you really loved me, you would obey me. And you didn't really love me with all your heart. Otherwise, you would have obeyed me. And if you obeyed me, you wouldn't have broken the third commandment, right? So therefore, you've broken the whole law. Do you see? Well, then who can be saved? It's not easy. For man, it's impossible. But for God, all things are possible. You need me. So you need to really strive hard. I am forgiven. I am merciful. I am loving. Yes. But I'm not playing around. I know whether you're trying to play games or not. I know if you're all in or not. I know if you're serious or not. I know your thoughts, your heart, your words, what you dream, what your intentions are. I know every fiber of your being. You cannot hide from me. You cannot lie to me. You can deceive yourself. You could deceive others, but you're not going to deceive Jesus Christ on Judgment Day. That's what he's going to say. Folks, we don't have an excuse. Ignorance is no excuse on Judgment Day. There's nothing we can say. So I suggest that we really reevaluate our lives and try to get on the right track before it's too late. Because otherwise we don't stand a chance. And yes, that means, I guess you're going to have to get used to not having many friends. But if your friends are all going to hell anyway, you don't need bad company. If your family hates you and rejects you like mine did, they're not on their way to heaven. I'm fighting for their souls. I'm suffering and praying and doing masses so that they might be converted and be saved. So, but if I don't do this, they don't even stand a chance. They're not helping themselves. So what I do also matters for others, as well as myself. But I also can't help you if I don't help myself first. I used to be a lifeguard, and one of the things they teach you is if you're out there and you're not properly prepared to save a life, you're going to drown at the same time with them. And what good is that? Now, 2 people lose their lives. We lose a good lifeguard while you're trying to make a save. That's no good. You have to be wise enough to say, can I safely do this? Am I confident that if I go out there, I'm not going to get eaten by a shark as well or drown in that same rip current? I have to be smart. I have to make sure I have the proper gear with me. The flotation devices, I have to make sure that the people on the beach know I'm going out to make a save, so they come out there with a boat as well, or whatever, they can pull me in. Like, I can't just go out there and try to be a hero and drown. That's how heroes drown. If I know I can't swim properly, or I'm having cramps, and I'm not ready, what am I doing? I'm committing suicide. So yeah, you have to make the call sometimes. And also, if you go out there and that person's drowning and they're not listening to you, and I know they're panicking, and they're pulling you down under with them, you either have no choice but to punch them in the face and let them go down, and maybe drag them back unconscious so you can hopefully save them on the beach. Otherwise, they're already dead anyway, and they're going to bring you with them. So if you are not, in other words, what good is a lifeguard if the lifeguard himself is drowning? So if I am not a good lifeguard, if I'm not healthy enough to swim, if I'm drowning myself, I am not a good lifeguard. There's no way I can worry about you. I got to make sure I'm fit and healthy enough to swim first before I can try to swim and save you. And it's the same thing with Christians. It's not selfish. It's not selfish for me to first of all, my family rejected me, not the other way around. But even at a certain point, they did me a favor, because I would have had to, if they were not going to come to Christ, then I would have had to walk away from them anyway. As much as I love them, I have to love God more, because otherwise they're just going to bring me to hell with them. So either way, I was going to lose my family and most of my friends. All my friends. I lost them all. Even the church friends. Even the ones that I was hanging out with, they started realizing, oh, this kid's too much. Like, I'm not going to be that ridiculously strict and holy. And so, what good is it? So they might go to Catholic church and everything, and they might have been my longtime Catholic brothers and sisters in Christ, but they've fallen away too, basically. They're lukewarm and apostate. They don't agree with my preaching and teaching, which is straight out of Scripture. They don't agree with me trying to raise the bar. So, oh, that's too much. You're no fun. So they hang out with other lukewarm Christians. So is that any loss to me? Think about it. At the end of my life, is it any loss to me? If all my family and friends and even Christian friends end up in hell at the end, if I make it to heaven by the skin of my teeth, it was wise for me to cut them off before they drown me with them. You see what I'm saying? Like, and that's not being selfish. That's being smart. That's proving that I love God more than I love anyone else. That's proving that I have to do it myself. Because how can I be an effective Christian for God and for neighbor if I myself are on the same road to hell? Jesus said he'll vomit you out of his mouth if you're lukewarm or apostate. So if I'm lukewarm and apostate like the rest of you, I'm not going to get to heaven either. So what is the point of all this? No, listen, I'm going to end this video with this. Get it through your head. A gold medalist, an Olympic gold medalist who has trained most of their life for this opportunity is not going to let you win. If they're competing against you, they're not going to feel bad for you and say, oh, you know what? You take the gold. No, only one gets the gold. And all of you have been training for this. So no matter how much you're friends, no matter how much you love each other, only one gets to take home the gold, and that's what it's all about. And so I'm sorry, but you have to love the game more than you love your competitors. You have to love that gold more than you love the competitors. That gold is everything. You have wasted your entire life training if you don't get that gold. There's no bronze, there's no silver and bronze, no second and third place with God. Sorry, people keep interrupting my video with the like button. Every time you hit like, it freezes my video, so please stop hitting like. I'm not doing this for accolades for you people to say, yes, we're with you, we agree. And I don't care about your likes and stuff. You might like it, you might hate it. I appreciate it, but it freezes my video. So, folks, when you're trying to get the gold, and Jesus said, St. Paul said, run your race to get the gold crown. There's no second place, there's no third place. You're either going to get the crown or you're going to go to hell. You can't play around. You can't let somebody else throw you off your game. You can't, if you have to hit the gym 20 hours a week or 50 hours a week in order to be able to win the gold, then you can't let somebody say, hey, let's go get McDonald's. Oh, you can skip a day or two. Oh, come on, let's just go to the beach. Oh, let's go get a drink. You will ruin your entire training over some dumb slip up. You can't do that. And if people don't respect what you're trying to obtain, whether out of jealousy they're trying to derail you, or they don't put as much emphasis or care or concern into what you do, they don't. Look, if other people don't care so much about their own eternity, they're not going to care about yours. They're not going to want to see you make it. If they're lukewarm or apostate or fake, phony frauds, they're not going to want you making it either. They're not putting enough effort into their eternity, into their walk with Christ, so you can't hang out with people like that. You have got to, iron sharpens iron. You have got to run with people who are on the same mission as you are. There's a different caliber. If you're trying to be a super saint so you can get to heaven, then you can't hang out with people who are lukewarm or don't, oh, well, I'm not going to be a saint. I mean, I'm going to get to heaven, but I mean, I don't really want to like live like that. Like, come on, I want to enjoy my weekends and I want to, then you're not on the same level as me. Oh, you think you're better than me? No, I don't. In fact, I know I'm not. And that's why I have to do this, because I have to be better than you. I don't think I'm better than you. God says I had better be better than you. Let me repeat that. I don't think I'm better than anyone down here. In fact, I know I'm not. In fact, in my own opinion, I'm scum of the earth. In God's eyes, because of my sin, I am a hell-bound piece of turd. But He's willing to love me and be long-suffering and patient to see if He gives me more time and grace, if I'm going to do something about it. I'm not wasting it. So I do not think myself better than anyone. Absolutely not. I know I'm not. But God says, if you want to go to heaven, you had better be better than everyone else. Many are called. Many run the race. Many try to get the gold in the Olympics. Few are chosen. Few win the gold. Think about that. Think about that. Now think about your Christianity. Are you serious? Are you a serious Christian? Are you seriously doing everything you can to the point of shedding blood, if it's required, to get to heaven? You know darn well most of you are going to say no. You might not say no outwardly. You won't admit it. You can't even admit it to yourselves, but you're not fooling God. Your judge knows. And it's obvious to the rest of us. So, no. The answer is no. 99% of you Christians and Catholics, you're not really to the point of willing to lay your life down and die. To the point of suffering and shedding blood. You're not really that serious about being a saint, about getting to heaven. So do not expect to get to heaven. With any luck, with a lot of mercy, you might make it to purgatory for a long time. Maybe. There was a well-known saint, I forgot who it was, but I remember this still stuck in my head. He said, he came back. I heard it said there was a story from a saint about was it a mother superior or a priest or whatever, a fellow religious, okay, who had died. And they were considered to be a very holy, righteous, saintly person, above all the rest, cut above the rest. They came back to another sister or saint or whatever from beyond the grave to warn them. And they said, listen, the hour that I died, 30,000 other people died at that exact moment and hour. 3 out of 30,000 souls. 3 were saved. 3. And one, it was the person who came back to tell this person. 1, myself, made it straight to heaven. 2 ended up in purgatory for a very long time. All the rest straight to hell. So do the math, folks. If he was the only one that made it in that hour, out of 30,000 people who died at the same time, he made it to heaven because he was a super saint, holy. 2 others are going to be suffering in purgatory for thousands of years. All the rest didn't stand a chance. They're right in the lake of fire. What does that say? Jesus wasn't playing around when he said, many are called, few are chosen. And the Bible even says, some are saved but through fire. The fires of purgatory. And the fires of a very tumultuous life down here. The fires of passion for Christ, the fires of persecution, the fires of martyrdom, the fires of self-denial, dying to self, to fires, whatever it takes to walk this narrow road of the cross. It is a very fiery, painful road to do this right. Just like an athlete who's training for 15 years of the beginning of the first 15 years of their life to be the best figure skater so they can take home the gold. While all their other friends get to enjoy their childhood and their pizza parties and their McDonald's parties and going to Disneyland with their parents and having a social life and going to school, these kids were raised to be machines. They were raised to be Olympic gold medal winners. And so they didn't get to play and have a social life. They didn't get to have a normal childhood. They had to sacrifice everything so that they had a chance, again, many are called, few are chosen, a chance to be the one person to take home that gold medal. And that required so much suffering and dedication and pain and long hours at the gym, long hours on the ice, training, denying, dieting, fasting, training. There's no time for TV and movies and Taylor Swift concerts and Disneyland and hang out with your friends. You understand? Because if they did that, they would never be able to bring home the gold medal. You cannot do both. And so, folks, that's why St. Paul himself made that analogy to us. He's not playing around. He's not exaggerating. In order for you to be able to get into heaven, you must be like an Olympic trainer, training every day severely, mortifying your flesh, starving, fasting, working out hard, while everybody else is hanging around watching TV. Hey, did you see what the Kardashians are up to? Hey, did you get to go to that new P. Diddy concert? Oh, hey, have you? No, I didn't. Well, where were you? Oh, let me guess, at the gym again. Yeah, because I need to try to win the gold medal. See, I'm on a different road than you. See, I plan on being on a box of Wheaties for the rest of my life. I plan on being a gold medalist. I plan on going and winning that Olympic gold. I'm not going for second and third place. I'm going for the gold. And so I have dedicated all my time and effort to win that gold medal. And anyone who I'm competing with, running my race with, who is slacking off in the slightest, they are not going to take home that medal. I will. Unless I am better than the rest, I will not win. And unless you and I are super saints, we're not getting to heaven. Unless we live our life strictly and adherently to the Word of God, we don't stand a chance. Oh, well, we got millions of Christians in the pews every day with us. Yeah, the body of church, yeah. But few are saved. So it doesn't matter if you have 400 people going to Mass with you every single day, or to your stupid church service every single day. Do you really think all of them are going to heaven? Be honest. I know you don't want to think about it. I know you don't want to tell them. I know you don't want to hear it. Because then you're going to sit there, well, what am I doing with all these people if we're all not going to make it anyway? That's why you need to make sure that you are cut above the rest. Not because you're holier than thou. Not because you're false pious. Not so you can say, look at me, I'm Saint Steve. Oh, look at me. You don't want to beware the yeast of the Pharisees and the Sadducees. Beware of spiritual pride. There's no pride in this. You must be humble and meek enough to admit defeat and to know that you have to try harder. You have to. You are not worthy. You are not better than anyone else. You are not good enough for God. You must fight. And when you truly start this process, just like those who literally... Did you ever notice, this might be a bad analogy, but did you ever notice that whenever one of you decides, you know what, I'm going to lose weight, I'm going to go on this fad diet, and I don't care what all my coworkers and all my friends and family say, I am going on this strict diet. I'm going to fast for 3 days. I'm going to whatever. And the minute they see that, oh, you're serious, you're actually going to do this. You want a cookie? Hey, why don't you come out for drinking? Oh, just have one beer. Oh, come on, a little glass of wine ain't going to hurt. Hey, you know what? I know you're really dedicated, but, I mean, it's Christmas, and it's okay to cheat a little bit. Oh, you know, it's so-and-so's birthday party. Oh, hey, you know, you never spend time with me. Let's go hang out. They're going to do nothing. The devil will literally keep sending people like mosquitoes on a summer night, nonstop, attacking you, to try to derail you. They might not even realize it. A lot of people are motivated by jealousy. They don't want to see you succeed. They don't care if you are constantly wasting your life trying to succeed, as long as you don't actually succeed. They don't care if you work really hard for a promotion, as long as you don't become their boss or get a raise, as long as you don't make more than them. Look, they don't want you to lose weight. If you've got a bunch of fat friends who like to eat McDonald's all day and suddenly you're on a strict keto diet, watch how fast they try. You want a cookie? Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot. You don't like to drink soda. Oh, you're going to the gym again? I mean, really? I mean, don't you want to come to the movies with us? They do. Folks, when you really wake up and say, oh my gosh, I'm going to hell no matter how long I've been going to church. I know if I'm honest with myself, I am not going to hear well done from Jesus. So what am I doing? I have got to go all in. I don't care if all my family and friends leave me. I don't care if I die under a bridge. I don't care if I lose my job. I've got to make it, because this life is so short no matter how I die. Eternity is forever. And if I don't want to die now, I'm not going to like being in the perpetual state of the torture of death in hell. In hell, it's called the second death, because you never really die. You're just burning on fire, which in life, eventually, if you were on fire or if you fell into lava, you would die in a few seconds. It would be over in a few seconds. Few seconds of pain, maybe a few minutes of pain, and then you're dead, you're free. But the second death, you've already died and probably suffered a terrible death, and now you're out of the pot and into the fire. So you were in painful agony frying in the frying pan, and then you jump out of the frying pan and you go right into the flames. That's what it's like. It's the second death in hell. Is you're in the process of burning to death or being ripped apart by demons, but you never die. You can't die. You just keep reliving the horrors of the pain and suffering of death over and over like a broken record for all eternity, but you never die. The pain never ends. The death, the dying process, the process of dying, the process of death never ends. Imagine somebody lighting you on fire with gasoline, but it never stops burning. You just keep burning and screaming in agony, but it never stops. And you're waiting to die. Pretty soon I'll just black out, I'll die and it'll be over. But no, that hell is the process of dying forever. It's the eternal death. That's why it's called the second death. It's worse than the first. We all have to go through the first death. But the second death is, you don't want to have to be stuck in the second death. And so it is a very sobering and scary. And even for me, and as much as I preach about it, I could still end up in hell very easily. And so it would all be for nothing. Now, maybe some of you might be woken up by this video and you'll end up in heaven because of it. I hope so. But I could still screw up and end up in hell. And God's going to say, you know what a shame. You did all those long videos and they really made sense and they really woke a lot of people up, but you yourself were disqualified. So when you say, oh, Steve, you're a loser, you don't have any friends, or even your family doesn't want to be with you. Good. Because I love my family and I want them saved, but let me tell you, they are nothing near, and I'm not saying I'm better or holier than them, but they don't hold a candle to me when it comes to Christianity. They don't know. They have no clue what I've spent 45 years learning. They are so far from the mark. And it would take a miracle from God, especially since they won't even repent and convert. They won't even try. So I'm not going to sit here wasting my life on the people who want to go to hell. I have to cut off. Look, if as a lifeguard, like I said, if I went to save you, and I always brought my man back, but praise God. But if I ever came to a situation where the person was not cooperating and they continued to claw and drag me under with them, I would have no choice but to kick them away from me and let them go under. I am not going to go down with you. I came to save you. I'm trying to help you. I'm risking my life to do it, but I am not going to let you drown me with you. And that's how it has to be, folks. If your family and friends, I don't care if they say they're Christian or Catholic or baptized or they go to church, and I don't care. A good tree bears good fruit. If they're not bearing good fruit, they're going to be thrown into the lake of fire. Do not go with them. You need to be wise. It is better to be alone and single than to be with friends and family or other Catholics or whatever you are and end up in the same lake of fire with them. We are all going to die and be judged, and no one's going to speak for us. It's just going to be Jesus, and he's going to give us our sentence. There's no one that's going to say, oh, well, no, Lord, please, he's a good person. Give him a chance. Oh, it was my fault. Or, no, it's not going to work that way. He's going to say, be quiet. Mind your business. So you need to make sure that you are doing everything possible to win the gold, to get approval of God, not of man. And I'm telling you that when you truly do this, all hell is going to come against you. The devil is going to attack you more than he ever did. Ever. He might not even hide himself. Do not be surprised if he shows up in your bedroom in all his ugliness, so that you might die of a heart attack right then and there, and then he's got you. Just because, seriously, if he showed up, you would probably have a heart attack. God protects us literally from the ugliness of Satan, because if you saw him in the flesh, you would die. He's that hideous. And obviously, if you show up, if you turn the lights on in your room one night and there's a demon standing there, you're probably naturally going to be and have a heart attack. Anybody would, because you're just caught off guard. You're not even prepared for it. It's scary. It's violating, So listen, and if you even saw God right now in your flesh, you would die. People, you're mistaken by these images of Jesus and divine mercy and this and that and the Sacred Heart. Yes, that's great. But if you saw him in all his glory, you would be vaporized. You would not be able to stand in his presence. You would drop on your face at the very least. And you couldn't even look at him. You'd be trembling with fear. You'd probably die of a heart attack. So I don't think you don't really have a true appreciation for who the God that we serve is. And he's not playing around. Yes, he's love and mercy and this and that, but he's also just and holy. His holiness alone will vaporize you and throw you into hell before you even can say hi. Like you don't get it. He can't help. His very nature would destroy you. Not even if he didn't want to, because if you're not in a state of grace, if you're not holy yourself, you're going to be repelled. It's like oil and water, folks. You just can't. And so you need to understand all this. We're playing games. We're just getting we don't even realize how lukewarm we are. We're just Catholic. We're just Christian. Oh, we pray at Rose. Everything becomes repetitive, mediocre, broken record. Just this is the way we go to church. But there's no fervency, there's no passion, there's no true love for it anymore, there's no true dedication. It might just be done out of obligation or because you don't want to go to hell. All the wrong reasons. And so you must constantly reignite your fire every day. And you can't be around people who are going to stifle it out or risk blowing it out on you or if you can't hang out with tepid, lukewarm souls because they will make you lukewarm really fast. You can't hang out with cold souls because they will bring you to hell with them real fast. Folks, it is a lonely road. And the reason the path of the cross, the road of the cross is so narrow is because you can only walk it one at a time. You can only get through the narrow gate one at a time, not side by side. One at a time. It is a lonely thing. It's just you and God. That's it. Other people might follow in front of you or behind you, but they're not going to be walking alongside of you because they're too busy carrying their cross, and it is a very narrow road. So it is lonely. And that's why if you're going to get married, you better be evenly yoked. Otherwise, you're going to end up in hell. Or one of you will go up and one of you will go down. Very rarely do both husband and wife make it to heaven, unfortunately, and you're designed to. The whole point of marriage, if you do it correctly, is to get each other to heaven, because you become one flesh. And the danger of becoming one flesh with someone is if the other person insists on being lukewarm or hellbound, that they're part of you. Half of you is dragging you down. You're fighting against your own flesh, and there's a good chance you're going to go to hell with them. You would have to be a super strong, saintly man or woman of God to be able to get you and your spouse to heaven. You better be like Saint Monica. And you and I darn well know we don't live like Saint Monica or Saint Padre Pio. We don't. And if we don't, then we're probably not going to make it to heaven. So you need to realize, oh, well, I'm married, it doesn't matter, I'm not trying to be a priest. You still have to have the same holiness. Jesus says, unless your holiness exceeds the holiness, unless your righteousness exceeds that of the Pharisees and the Sadducees, you will not inherit the kingdom either. The Pharisees and Sadducees were very holy, very wise, righteous people, to the point of spiritual pride, which is why they didn't recognize Christ and why they were not going to make it to heaven. That's why Jesus says tax collectors and prostitutes are making it to the kingdom before you. That's because a converted prostitute is a lot more meek and humble than a self-righteous, proud, arrogant Pharisee or Sadducee. So they needed to tone it down a bit and become meek and humble Pharisees and Sadducees, and then they would be super saints. And so unless the prostitutes and the tax collectors, their righteousness ended up excelling that of the Pharisees and Sadducees, they would not make it either. Again, very few make it. So I'm not trying to deter you or discourage or scare you. That's why this goes through my head all the time too, and it is discouraging. Even I get discouraged sometimes. I'm like, Lord, I cannot do this. Like, it's so hard. But every time I'm even tempted to just give up and just go enjoy my life and go back into the world and say, I'm going to hell anyway, whatever, might as well just enjoy. No. Something takes over and says, you know better. Don't you dare. You have come too far and worked too hard to just throw it all away. You have a chance still. You won't have a chance if you just give up and backslide and go down the mountain. We all fall. But if you choose to get back up, you have a chance. If you stay down, it's over. In a boxing ring with Mike Tyson, if you keep getting up, you still have a chance of being standing at the end when that bell rings. But if you stay down for the count, you are done. You have lost. You have to get up. You cannot stay. Failure is not an option. So you keep getting knocked down. The devil's going to punch you and knock you down more times than you stand. Keep getting up. Say, all right, shake it off. Get back up. Turn the other cheek. Get back up. Folks, it's going to be this way till the day you take your last dying breath. So you better get used to taking the punches. You better get used to getting knocked down and get back up. Get knocked down, get back up. Your knees should be bloody. A good prayerful person, your knees are going to be wearing out and calloused, like mine. They're so painful, but I have no choice. I'm going to pray on my knees. And so, none of this, God knows my heart. I'm just going to stand here and praise him. And you pray the Our Father with your hands outstretched. You're not supposed to do that. You're not an ordained priest. Stop doing that. Only priests pray with their hands up because they are in persona Christi. And so they're offering up for all of us to the Father the prayers of the people. You are not a priest, so you don't pray with the Our Father with your hands stretched. You clasp your hands. Darn it, how many times do I have to tell you people? What is wrong with you? Why don't you know this by now? Do you think you're being holy and pious and meek and humble by outstretching your hands? No. When you do this, Our Father who art in heaven, that says, look at me, look at my holiness, look at my righteousness. Ooh, look how much I love God. No. You should be like this, with your hands clasped in holiness and meekness and humility. That's why you don't do that. And what about when we all stand and we hold hands together and we say the Our Father together holding hands? No, you Protestant heretic. That's Protestant ecumenical garbage from hell. No, this isn't singing Kumbaya around a fire pit. That's fellowship. That's not worship. Worship is personal. Worship may be together you worship, but it's an individual basis surrounded with other individuals. You are focusing on God. You're not really being able to focus 100% on Jesus if your hands you're holding hands with your neighbors. Oh, their hand is sweaty. This one's cold. Oh, this one's pulling me to the left. This one's pulling me to the right. Oh, you're going to be distracted. Don't touch people. You are set apart for God. Stay holy. Learn how to pray. Folks, I don't have time. I really, this is why I make these videos, but I spend so much of my time, it falls on deaf ears because you people are not going to listen to what I say, and you think you know better than me, or you don't care, or whatever, and I really feel I'm just wasting my time most of the time. It took me many, many years of a lot of trial and error and learning and studying and reading on the saints and all that stuff to learn what I do. And then I offer it to you guys to try to help you. And most of you don't even watch these videos. You don't like, oh, I don't like his voice. I don't like the way he's talking down to me. I don't like his judging me. Oh, shut up. Do you want to win the gold or not? Then shut up and listen to your trainer. You need to be serious. Stop complaining. Pick up your cross. Stop complaining about how painful and heavy it is and follow God. You want to get to heaven, then you better be like an Olympic gold medalist. That's what I'm trying to say. Stop being tepid and lukewarm and making excuses for your nonsense. Stop. Few are chosen, so you better be among the few. If 30,000 people die right now in this hour, you had better be one of the 3 that make it to heaven. If you at least make it to purgatory, you got a good chance. But if you're not going to even make it there, you're done. Purgatory is like out of the frying pan and into the flames, but only for a little while. But if you don't, going to heaven is like getting out of the pan altogether. But purgatory is like out of the pan into the fire for a little bit, and then somebody scoops you out of the fire. But if you don't make it to even purgatory, you're just going right into the incinerator. So anyway, again, I wasn't planning on making all this whole long video. I just had a quick thought. I was literally going to make a 2-minute video saying, hey, has anybody else thought about this? But then it turned into something always ends up taking over. But you know what? I'm glad I have these conversations with myself on this camera, because it's almost like me giving myself a little pep talk of like, listen, wake up, Stephen, wake up. You need to do better. Come on. And tell other people too. You know what I mean? So it's worth it, because I need to be reminded of this. I need to think. I need to meditate. This is like me journaling, but without journaling. This is a video journal. It's a vlog. This is like me contemplating these things, thinking, going over what I've already learned, and really just, studying and reminding myself and revisiting and meditating and thinking and learning and growing. What else was I going to do tonight? Watch TV? Go commit sin? Go to a bar and get a drink? Gossip on the phone for 5 hours with a friend? Sorry, my phone is freezing again. This is obviously time better spent thinking about God, preaching about God, learning more, reminding myself, giving myself a pep talk, encouraging myself, encouraging others. This is church, okay? This is part of church outside of church. This is what we're supposed to do. A real person who's serious about getting to heaven, all other things come second. You're always thinking about God and how to perfect yourself and how to be a saint and how to live a saintly life and how to get to heaven and how to get other people to heaven. This is top priority. I wake up like this. I go to bed like this. It's on my head constantly all throughout the day. I haven't lost my mind. I gave my mind to Christ. I haven't lost my mind. I have the mind of Christ. That's what happens. I took out worldly stuff and I filled it with Christian stuff. I think about Jesus. I want to talk to him. I want to learn. I ask him to teach me. I read the word. I pray. I watch other videos to learn even more of other preachers, whatever. I'm always Christian, Jesus, until the day I die, because that is being on the narrow path and coming out and being set apart wholly unto the Lord, separate from the rest of the world. If you were to be able to, like that movie Twilight, imagine being able to be a mind reader. Can you imagine sitting in a bar or a restaurant or even in church and being able to look at every person around you and hear their thoughts like God does? This one's thinking about their cat. This one's doing disgusting things with their cat. This one's thinking about, I can't wait to get out here and get a hamburger. This one's thinking about pornography. This one's realizing they're nothing but a hypocrite, doesn't even know why they're going to church. This one's, chewing gum. But honestly, how many people, if you can tap into their mind, or literally, Jesus, forgive me. Jesus, my Lord, my God, my Savior, forgive me. Jesus, my Lord and my God, I love you. Jesus, make me holy. I want to be holy. I'm not holy enough. I really need to. And I'm not talking about scrupulosity here. I'm just talking like, if you were able to pick someone's brain, literally, and play back their whole day, 24 hours of the person's thoughts, Most people's thoughts are all over the place and are very sinful and whatever. But if you find a saint, their thoughts are going to be constantly, how can I be holier? What else can I do for God and neighbor? How am I going to make it? Let's contemplate hell. Let's contemplate heaven. Let's see, what did I do wrong today? How many things did I do right today? I need to work on that. Oh, Jesus, I love you. Hey, Lord, whatever. Oh, Hail Mary, whatever. Oh, I got to get to Mass. I should go to another Mass. That's what they're going to be. They're constantly, their thoughts are going to be more often than not on things of heaven and of getting to heaven. They're not going to worry so much about, I wonder if the Red Sox beat the Yankees today. I wonder what Jennifer Aniston's hair products are like. I wonder if Taylor Swift, if she's going to have another concert near me. I wonder what, I don't know. Again, I always say the Kardashians and the last time I watched TV, like when I actually had cable, which was over 15 years ago, I think Jersey Shore was a big thing, and maybe the Keeping Up with the Kardashians or whatever that garbage is. That's all I can go by. I don't even know what you people watch today. Maybe the Bachelor number 10, Bachelor something again in Tahiti. I don't know. Maybe reruns of Friends. What do you people watch? I don't want to know. I don't care. It's stupid. It's a waste of time. It's stupid, hellbound garbage anyway. Nothing but profanity and sex and stupidity. So, and encouraging and enabling other people to do it. So it's sinful to even watch these things. So I had to stop all that so I can focus on God. I'm careful about what I do watch so that it's, for the most part, so that I'm focusing more on, growing in holiness. So I try to remove stuff that's not necessary and fill it with necessary stuff. Okay? I try to think more about eternity and heaven and becoming a saint and getting others to heaven and what I need to do for the Lord. I can't use up that space for nonsense stuff that's not going to, at the end of my life, count for anything. It's going to lead me to hell. So I have to be careful who I hang out with, who I let into my home and circle, what I do with my time every day. I have to, when people say, oh, you spend hours on the phone. Yeah, making these videos, teaching myself and you, growing in holiness. I'm not sitting here doom scrolling or scrolling and looking at pornography or watching stupid cat videos or whatever. I'm not wasting the time. When I use my phone, it's for ministry. It's for world events. It's to keep you abreast to what's going on in the world that match up with biblical prophecy, so you know that Jesus is returning sooner than you realize. It's to get you ready so that you don't become complacent. That's what I do. And I also hate wasting a lot of my time arguing with Protestants. You're too much. Or, there's other ways to do. Shut up. No, I'm a devout Catholic. So if you're going to roll with me, you're going to follow me, or you're going to keep your mouth shut. You're going to learn and observe, or you can disagree and go elsewhere. I don't have time for you. I really don't have time to argue over how to get to Jesus, how to worship him properly, what the Bible really says, which church is truly the right church and which is not. If you don't know that by now, shame on you. You can go to hell. You're not taking me with you. You understand? Doesn't mean I don't love you. Doesn't mean I don't want to be your friend. But I am not going to be unevenly yoked. I will not date you if you're not a Catholic. I will not hang out with you much if you're not going to be on my page. Oh, well, why can't we just talk about non-Christian, non-political things? Because that's all I think about. And that's who I am. So if you don't like that, if you can't handle that, don't hang out with me. I'm not going to stop being me. It took me 45 years to get my mind this way, and I'm not going to let you say, well, let's just talk about, the weather, the beach, dogs. I don't want to. I don't need to talk about the weather. I already know what it is. I don't want to talk about dogs. I don't want to talk about anything else. And then if we're not talking about Jesus and we're not talking about politics, then what are we going to talk about that's valuable? We're going to talk about we're going to start gossiping about other people, grumbling, complaining. My neighbor did this. My roommate did that. Oh my gosh, my landlord did this. Oh, they overcharged me. I don't want to do that. And I'm not going to do that, and I don't want to listen to it. So if that's how you are, get the hell away from me. Forgive my language, but because you're going to hell anyway. Get away from me. Oh, you think you're holier than me. You think you're too good for me. Think whatever you want. I know that's not true, but you're right. I'm not better than you, but I'm trying to be. I may not be holier than you, but Jesus says I must be. So I'm not better than you, but Jesus says I had better be, or I'm not getting to heaven either. I'm not holier than you, but Jesus said I better be before I die. So yeah, you need to change the way you think. Stop judging me and say, oh, you're judging me. No, I'm not judging you. I'm too busy judging myself. I don't have time to judge you. God will judge you. I need to judge my own self, and I judge sin. You're absolutely right. So I can avoid it. I'm not going to make compromise. And so stop with the nonsense. Just stop talking. Okay? If you're not gifted like me to talk properly about important things, then just shut your mouth, because everything out of your mouth is unnecessary anyway. And you will be judged for every word out of your mouth on Judgment Day, and you will end up in hell. Do you understand that? So, oh, that's what you say. No, that's what Jesus says. Oh, you're speaking for him? No, his Bible. I read it. You want to try reading it? Oh, well, that's what your church believes. No, that's what the church that Jesus founded teaches. Stop arguing. Stop coming at me with, oh, well, that's it. No. Well, you're not the guru on all things. No, you're right. I'm not, but Jesus is, and I'm telling you what he says. Well, you're not a prophet. I didn't say I was. I know after so many years dedicated 24/7, well, I have a life. I have a job. You don't work. And because I don't work, I don't just sit around watching TV and eating popcorn all day and doing drugs and masturbating. I read the Bible. I pray. I go to church more because I don't work so much because of my disabilities and whatever. And maybe God has done this purposely so I can grow in holiness and focus more on him than on worldly things. Do you ever think of that? Why don't you not worry about it? Are you jealous that you're so busy working 9 to 5 that you don't have time to focus like I do? You wouldn't do it anyway. You're telling me that if you were unemployed, you would sit here reading the Bible all day and praying all day and making videos all day about Jesus? No, you wouldn't. You'd be watching TV and going to the gym and going to get your nails done and walking your dog and having sex. You'd be doing worldly stuff with your time. You wouldn't dedicate it to God. So don't lie to me. I'm not stupid. So you might as well just go to work all day long then and make money for the devil, for Caesar. Oh, well, I have to pay my bills and you don't need another new car. You don't need to rent a car. You don't need to lease a car. You could have bought an old beater like I did, and that's it. You don't have to have a car payment. So now you have to work more. Who's the fool? You or me? Well, I want a nicer car. Well, if you want a nicer car, then it's going to mean that you got to work more hours. And those hours you're working for a stupid materialistic piece of car that's not going to help you get to heaven, those hours are wasted working for money to pay for a car you don't need instead of helping you have less time working so you would have more time for Jesus if you didn't have to work so much for a big house or a brand new mobile home or a brand new car or whatever. That's why you're supposed to be less materialistic and less worldly and detach from people. Oh, well, you want to go out every Friday and maybe every Wednesday with your girls and go drink and have dinner. That costs money. Now you got to work even more for Caesar on the hamster wheel so you can pay for your fun. I'd rather not have fun and not have to go to work more to make money just to waste on sinful fun and pleasure that's going to end up in hell at the end. I'm going to end up in hell for it. No, I'd rather be unemployed and broke and read the Bible every day than have to go work every day and think I'm better. What, you think you're better than me because you have a job and I don't? You think you're better than me because you get to go out with your friends and go drink and go to restaurants and go travel the world and I can't? Those are your choices. You think that you have a better quality of life than me just because you work hard and play hard and you've earned it. Well, good for you. But what does Jesus say? What is he going to say? He's going to say, okay, so Steve chose to fill his life focusing on me and ministering and trying to lead souls to heaven and learning more about me every day. You are going to tell me, oh, well, Lord, you got to let me into heaven because, I had a 9-to-5 job and I had a house to pay for and a new car and maybe I'm a husband or wife and with kids, but I don't care. You still could have prioritized. Maybe you didn't need a bigger house. Maybe you could have lived in a tent or a yurt. Maybe you could have lived in a mobile home. Maybe you could have had an old car instead of a new one. Maybe you didn't need those new clothes. Maybe you didn't need that week off vacation. What he's gonna say is, you used your time the way you used your time. One's time is one's time. I repeat that. One's time is all one's time. What they choose to do with that time is what they will be judged on. If you use that time appropriately as God commanded for his glory and honor and kingdom's advancement and to sanctify yourself, well done, you go to heaven. If you use that time on worldly pleasures, drinking, drugs, sleeping around, fornication, masturbation, living in adultery, going on vacation, going to the beach, going to get your nails done, watching sports, going to sports games, going to concerts. Well, yeah, living your best life now. I'm going to enjoy my life. You carry your cross, Steve. I'm going to go to the beach and enjoy my life. Great. Jesus will remind you of that on your judgment day when you're facing hell. And he says, well, you're going to hell because you enjoyed your life. You refused to pick up your cross and follow me as Stephen did. Because I told everyone, if you want to be my disciple, you must pick up your cross and follow me. You must die to self, come out of the world, detach from people, places, and things. You will love the Lord your God with all your heart and mind and strength and might. You didn't do that. So now you think you're going to go to heaven? You directly violated a command from God, and you decided, like Satan, you were not going to obey. You were going to do your own thing. Satan said, I'd rather reign in hell than serve in heaven. And so just like your father, the devil, you're a child of his, and so you think like him. And so you were all about just enjoying your life and avoiding the cross. And now you want to go to heaven? I don't think so. Depart from me, you wicked, lazy servants, into the lake of fire. Or depart from me, I never knew you at all, into the lake of fire, prepared for the devil and his demons. You're not a child and servant of mine. You weren't living your life trying to seek and fulfill only the Father's will for your life. You chose your own life. You had free will and you used it. You abused it. You did things your way. Well, I don't care. My scripture said, if you want to bother reading it, that ignorance of the scriptures is no excuse on Judgment Day. So I don't care what you thought. I don't care who deceived you. I don't care that you didn't know. I don't care if you were ignorant. Shame on you. It doesn't matter. No excuse. End of story. Go to hell. That's what's going to happen. Folks, if you're not going to hear it from me, you're going to hear it from Jesus very soon. So I suggest you get with his program and stop the nonsense. Stop lying to yourself. Stop deceiving yourself. Stop making excuses for your wrong thinking and your wrong wicked desires and your selfish living. You need to be Christ-centered, not self-centered. You need to be Christ-minded, not worldly-minded, not human-minded. You need to, folks, there's a very big difference. You might have a Christian title. You might go to a Christian church. You might know Jesus. You might believe in Jesus. You might know the Bible to some extent. But if you're not doing as he says, you're not getting in. It's all in vain. And I'm trying to stress that. And so that is why I am the way I am. I'm not holy. I'm not a saint. I'm not a prophet. I do not think I'm holier than you or pious. I don't think better of myself than any of you. I'm not talking down to any of you, and I'm not judging you. I'm speaking for myself, and I'm speaking what the word has taught me and what God has told me, and that is all I can do. You do what you want. One's time is all one's time. I'm choosing to spend my time the way I do because I'm trying to get to heaven. And I don't want to hear you say, well, that's not how you get to heaven, or you don't need to do all that. That's your opinion. That's not fact. That's not what Jesus told me. That's not what the Bible says. That's not what the church teaches. So I don't know where you're getting this information from, but that's nothing but a twisted opinion of yours. And that's going to send you right to hell. You sound like the devil. Do you understand that? That's what Satan did to Eve. He said, Eve said, no, we're not allowed to eat that forbidden fruit. God said not to touch that apple. Did he really say that? Yes, he said if we touch this apple, we'll die. Not to eat from the tree of life and of good and evil, of knowledge of good and evil, or we will certainly die. Are you sure you heard him correctly? I'm sure you're not going to really literally die, Eve. I'm sure it's okay. Maybe God just doesn't want you to know what he knows, you know? Maybe you misunderstood him. I don't think you're really going to die. I mean, how are you going to know unless you try? I mean, come on. You don't know what you're missing. And he's going to try to sit there and say, oh, I'm sure that's not what it was. I'm sure he didn't. Maybe you're interpreting it wrong. That's what you people do to me all the time. You know that? You're Satan in disguise. You Protestant heretics come up to me and say, oh, you Catholics, that's not what it really says. Who told you to interpret it that way? Oh, there's other ways to heaven. Oh, everybody goes to heaven. Oh, not everybody's going to hell. Oh, I think you're wrong. I think you're being too much. You need to live a little. Stop. You think that I'm so stupid that I don't see Satan standing right behind you, talking into your ear, and it's coming out your mouth, and you're trying to make me believe the lies that you're believing from him? Go kick rocks. Get out of here. Do not talk to me. I mean it. Do not try to brainwash me. If I'm wrong, I will deal with the consequences eternally. If you're wrong, you are going to deal with the consequences. I'm going to do what Jesus and the Word of God has suggested. I'm going to work out my own salvation with fear and trembling. And I suggest you all do the same. But if you're going to sit there and try to tell me not to have fear and trembling and not try to worry so much about working out my own salvation and once saved, always saved, all these lies from hell, you need to get out of my life right now. Get off my Facebook page. Do not come to my house. Do not call me. Because I am 45 years old and I have been most of my life studying, praying, seeking, searching. I didn't get it all right. I did a lot of bad things, but I'm here now. And I am not going to throw it all away because you don't have the same knowledge or experience that I do, or you don't have the same beliefs as I do, or you don't agree. I don't care. Oh, well, that's why you're never going to have a girlfriend. Good. I got Jesus. Oh, you're never going to get married. Good. I don't need to. I'm single for the Lord. Oh, you're never going to have a social life. Good. Because if most of people think like you and act like you, and I don't want that in my life. See, people are not avoiding me. I'm pushing you away. Yeah, exactly. You push everyone away for a reason. You're toxic. Oh, you think you're better than us? No, but I can't take chances. So, well, I accept everybody. Well, then you're a fool. No, love is love. No, it's not. Well, I accept you the way you are. Do you really? No, you don't. Because if you did, you wouldn't keep trying to tell me to stop being the way I am. And to go to your church. And to try to argue with me and debate things about the Bible that you're wrong about. Oh, well, you don't need to be Catholic. Yes, I do. You're telling a Catholic who takes vows to God through his Catholic church not to be Catholic. Who are you? Get out of here, you stupid idiot. Go. Oh, now you're judging me. A fool's a fool. Bad tree's a bad tree. It's not hard to judge. I'm just telling it like it is. I can see that your fruit is rotten or missing. Go. Oh, well, that's why you have no friends. You're absolutely right. Thank God for that. Well, I wouldn't want to be alone. Well, that's you. That's your problem. You want to know why you can't be alone? Because you don't have Jesus, so you're really alone, and this bothers you. Second of all, you can't stand yourself. You don't even know yourself. And you can't stand you don't want to be in bad company either, and you are bad company. You and yourself are bad. You can't stand being alone with yourself. Again, because you're nothing like Jesus and you don't have Jesus truly. And so that's why you fear being alone. Me, I love it. I don't care. I'd rather just be alone with Jesus or the man that I am that's becoming like Jesus. I'm fine. I don't need to be with people. In fact, every time I have company over, I'm like, they don't stop talking. They don't stop. Everything out of their mouth is worldliness and nonsense and complaining and drama and relationship issues. This is why I'm single. I don't want to have a girlfriend to have to worry about and complain about. I don't want to be nagged. I don't want to have all these problems that you people bring into your own life because you don't live for Jesus. You don't live the way he told you to. He commanded you to. You don't even have him or know him. That is why you have all these problems. And then you want to come and vomit it out on me. Oh, my boyfriend did this. Oh, my girlfriend did that. Oh, my God. Oh, I hate my job. Oh, I hate my life. Oh, they charged me too. Oh, I'm going to go get a drink. You want to come and get a drink with me? Shut up. Just shut up. No. Get out of here. Please. You and all the demons that are with you, please don't come around me. Please. Oh, you're not very loving. You're not a good Christian. Then you never met a real one. Well, then no wonder people don't like Christians. No wonder they kill you people. Yeah. Of course Satan and his children are going to hate us. We don't put up with stuff. We don't live like you. We don't want to be like you. We raise the bar, not lower it. This isn't a game of limbo. This is, folks, Most of you are so far from being real Christians you don't even realize it, and you think you're Christians, you think you're going to heaven. You're sadly mistaken. You deceive yourselves and you deceive others, but you're not going to deceive God. Most of you are just playing church, or you're hoping to get into heaven by the skin of your teeth. Most of you are so worldly and materialistic, lukewarm, tepid, and apostate, and you have no idea, and you don't even care. And so your solution is, well, what if we just get everybody else to be like us? Then God has to accept us all or send us all to hell. And if we all go to hell, well, at least we're in good company. We're not going by ourselves. And if we all get to heaven, well, good, then we won. It's not going to work that way. God said, listen, I'd rather have one or two of you saved, or none at all, than to violate. I will never change my laws. So I am the way I am. I'm the same yesterday, today, and forever. You will either raise the bar and get on my level, you will either comply and do things my way, or you will take the highway to hell. God's not going to compromise. He's not a respecter of persons. He said what he said, and he meant it, and he leaves it up to each one of us to make the cut or not. So you're either going to truly take this very seriously, even if it kills you, even if it literally kills you. Even if you lose everything in the process, you'll gain eternal life. But if you're not willing to do what it takes to win the gold, to get that crown, to be one of the few that enter the kingdom, then you're wasting your time and you're not going to make it anyway. And so what do you people do? You know the truth in the back of your mind, in your heart somewhere, you know I'm telling you the truth. And you know that you're pretty much not going to make it anyway. So you decide not to think about it. I don't want to think about hell. I don't want to think about it. I'm just gonna keep playing church and pretend Jesus loves me. This I know, and I love Jesus, and oh hallelujah. And you're just gonna pretend until you end up in hell that you're saved and you're once saved, always saved. You're going right to heaven, and God loves you, and everything's great. And then you're gonna keep telling yourself these lies so you can not feel convicted or scared, so you can enjoy your life and your sin. You want a comfortable ride, a comfortable life. You just want to enjoy your sin. Oh, I'm not a sinner. Then you're a liar. Jesus said anyone who says they're not a sinner is a liar. And you're calling God a liar. Everyone is a sinner. No one is perfect but God. No one is good but God. So stop saying you're a good person, because Jesus said you're a liar. He says only God is good and you're not God. He says if anyone says they have no sin, they are a liar. They deceive themselves, for all fall short of the glory of God. No one is glorious like God. You're a human, you're automatically a sinner. So stop lying. Stop saying you're good and stop saying you're not a sinner. So now that you know that reality, then what are you going to do now? Now you can't keep making excuses for, well, God will forgive me. God understands. No, he doesn't. And no, he will not. Next, you need to stop. You need to strictly, militarily, get with the program and change everything about the way you think, talk, dress, act, who you associate with, who you hang out with, what you do with your time, what you eat, how much you eat, what you drink, how much you drink, where you go, everything about you. And so I am warning you, most of you so-called self-proclaimed Christians, whether Catholic or non-Catholic, I don't care. You're so deceived and lukewarm and apostate, and you're going to be thrown right into hell. Do you understand that? Because you are living no difference. Not enough. Not different enough. Not by far from all the other hell-bound non-Christians. Do you understand that? You are no different from all the other apostates and non-Christians and atheists and Satanists, all the worldly people. You still think and act and live like the world. And Jesus said to come out of her. Come out of the world, to not be like that, to be set apart holy. You're not holy. You're not detached. You are lukewarm and apostate at most, at best. Yet you go to church and you claim to know Jesus and you claim to be a Christian, you claim to be a Catholic, but you're not. And maybe you don't realize that, or you don't want to know that, or you don't care. But you're deceiving yourself and many others, and you're just playing church until you are Christ-like, until you are a real saint, until you are striving daily, even if it costs you everything, for holiness and sanctity. You are not doing it right. You are not on the road to heaven, and you are probably most likely not even going to purgatory, let alone heaven. You need to be aware of that. So what, I never get to watch TV or sports anymore? Maybe not. Oh well. Deal. So I have to fast all the time and pray all day? Yep. Deal. So I have to be uncomfortable? Yep. Deal. So I have to lose my job and my house? Maybe. Deal. So I have to lose my family and friend? Yep. Christ alone. But well, then why would I want to be a Christian? Hey, Satan didn't want to do it either. Do you understand? Most people aren't. It's no consolation. Totally understandable. Because God is telling you, like the Sermon on the Mount, you must choose. You can't serve both God and mammon. You can't serve both God and the world. You can't be rich and enter the kingdom. You can't live your life to the fullest and enjoy your life now and then still have an eternal reward in heaven. It's one or the other. You die now and live eternally later, or you live now and you die eternally later. But you don't get to do both. You do have to choose. There's a road that seems that everybody's on it. It seems like the right road, but it leads to hell and death. It's the broad road, the comfortable road, the safe road. Or there's the road that's narrow, road of the cross is full of thorns and stones, and it's lonely and it's miserable. And that's the road that leads to the narrow gate that enters into the kingdom of heaven. And few find it. Many are called, many congregate in church, but few are chosen to go to heaven out of those churches. So you might have 400 people in the church building with you, but only maybe 1 or 2 are going to heaven. So what about the rest? Disqualified. Because they weren't like those few who actually went all in and got this and did it right and strived hard to enter by the narrow gate and win the gold and work out their own salvation with fear and trembling. How are you working out your salvation with fear and trembling every day, all day long, when you're going out for happy hour? When you're going to a Taylor Swift concert? When you're watching pornography? When you're shacking up with someone you're not married to and you're letting them sleep over? When you're letting your kids go and sleep over their girlfriend or boyfriend's house when they're 16 years old and they're not even supposed to be doing that unchaperoned? You're not even living nearly. You're not even scratching the surface of how to obey God or to know God or to live a Christian life. You're not even reading the Bible, and if you are, I don't know what version you're reading. It's obviously not sinking in. You got short-term memory loss or something because you're not doing what it says. That's why people will hate you if you're a real Christian. You will not have many friends. The world will hate you. If you're loved by the world, you're not a Christian. Unfortunately, because the world will turn against you and hate you. The world and the devil runs this world. He's the god of the air, the prince of the air, the god of this world. And he's got many servants and children. And many of them claim to be Catholic and Christian and Protestant, but they're not. And they don't even know it. Or they don't admit it to themselves. Jesus is coming back for a few remnant faithful. He wished that everyone would be saved, but he knows that most won't. And that's all their choice because he gave them free will to either work out their salvation with fear and trembling and really follow the rules or not. And most of you choose not to. You compromise every day so many ways, so many times, and you don't even care, and you don't confess it, or you don't even know you got to confess it, and you just do everything wrong, and you think you're a good person. You call yourself good. You think you don't have mortal sin on you. You think you're going to go to heaven, or at least purgatory. You're counting on that, which you wouldn't be wanting to go to purgatory if you knew what purgatory was. It is literally hell, hellfire, but you're not there forever. But you're there for a long time, and it is still burning in torture. So I don't think you want to be going to purgatory. Say, oh, well, at least I'll go to purgatory. You want to go thrown into fire? You want to burn alive for thousands of years? What is wrong with you? My gosh. You act like purgatory, like heaven is the Grand Floridian Hotel, and purgatory is the Holiday Inn. Oh, I'll take the Holiday Inn then for a little while. I mean, it might not be the best hotel in the world, but it's still a hotel. That's what you think. You think heaven is like the Taj Mahal, and purgatory is like the Holiday Inn Express, or Hotel 8, or whatever, Motel 8. No, it's not. Heaven is unexplainable. It's way better than anything on earth, and so you don't even have words to describe it. And purgatory and hell are literally like jumping into a volcano. You just don't think. You're not getting it. You're not getting it. And again, a lot of this is because you have too much on your mind. You're too worldly distracted. You're too comfortable. You're too worried about houses and cars and sports and concerts and food and drinking and sex and pleasure and gambling and fun and just enjoying life and being a husband, being a wife, being a mother or father, going to college, getting your career, making money, just living life. Just living life. Just pursuing that American dream, that's what we live for, right? We live and we die, and that's it. No, you got it all wrong. You were brainwashed. You say the church brainwashes? Are you kidding me? No, Uncle Sam brainwashes your kid as soon as he gets them out of the womb. They give them a serial number, you call it Social Security ID, they chip them, they vax them, and then they send them into public schools, and then they brainwash them for 12 or more years. And then they're totally godless people who have no clue about holiness, morality, sanctity, Jesus, nothing. And they're already hellbound. And now they just live, and everything they do is an affront to God. Everything they will do their entire life is sin, 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 mortal sin, venial sin, sin, abomination, living for self, living for the world, living for the things of the world. Everything is so far left when God needs you to be so far right. And then they don't even stand a chance. But then they stand there on their judgment day. Oh, God does exist. With their purple hair and their nose rings and their tattoos everywhere, and they're transing themselves and their kids. And well, Jesus, I love you. Let's go to heaven. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Oh, well, nobody told me. No, you knew. You could have known. You chose not to know. Yeah, there's no excuse. Folks, it is almost impossible for this generation to even get saved at this point. It is that bad. For man, it is impossible. Luckily, praise God, we have God. And for God, all things are possible, but not without him. So you and I need to make sure we are living for him and with him and in him. We must have him. If we don't, we do not stand a chance of ever getting saved and going to heaven. Ever. That's it. That's all I got to say. So you need to think about what you're doing